Anyway, here we are. We're about to get hit with some real cold weather, and our grid is potentially going to be overstressed, overloaded, etc. So, a couple questions for you. Do you trust our grid? Are you concerned about it? What do you set your thermostat at when it goes out, when it gets cold outside? And what are your plans if the power does go out? 800-288-WBAP is our number, 800-288-9227. But we're also adding this one. People are stocking up. The Fox 4 News report today says firewood at a place in Garland. They're just overloaded, selling it off like hotcakes. It's now part of winter safety preps. The customers, this lady that was interviewed that works there said, customers from 2021 that were without power for a long time had their wood delivered early this fall. Can somebody correct me if I'm wrong here or add to this? What we learned in the 2021 power outages and storm and everything was that those of you who have, like I do, a fireplace, mine's gas, maybe yours is gas, maybe yours is wood, I don't think it matters at all. Those of y'all who I talked to through that horrible time when people didn't have power half the time, that you said it didn't make a hill of beans difference. Because the fire only warms you up within 5 feet or so of the fire. So you're laying there, and whoever happens to be blessed to be parallel to the fire, maybe two of you can be kind of warm on one side, and that's it. It's basically irrelevant, is my understanding. You tell me if that's the case or not. And by the way, natural gas shot up 400% right now. So I usually don't ever turn my natural gas a fireplace on, because it's insane. Like on some nights when I turn it on to enjoy ourselves for a treat, it's like my gas bill goes up $20. I swear to you, for turning it on for like a couple hours. I'm like, what the heck? Like if you put that on for a few days in a row, my gas bill's going to go up 40, 50, 60 bucks. So I would do it if we had no power. I would do it. Trust me on that. But some others are filling up several gas cans for their generator and such. So, but there's also grocery store people going nuts and all sorts of stuff. Are you stocking up on groceries or supplies, and what are you making sure you have plenty of for when this storm hits? What specific groceries or other things are you getting? 800-288-WBAP is our number, 800-288-9227. Charles in Denton has a good point, I do believe. Charles, you're on News Talk 820 WBAP and 93.3 FM.
Yeah, how you doing today?
Good. How are you, brother?
Yeah, I'm all right. Now, I'm just going to talk about a comment that, because I'm originally from North Jersey, and I lived through Hurricane Sandy. And when Hurricane Sandy hit.
Yes, I remember that, yeah.
And I remember the whole North New Jersey grid was down. The gas stations were closed. You couldn't get gas. All the stores were closed.
I bet you the weed stores were open. I bet you the liquor stores and the weed stores were open.
No, it wasn't legalized then.
Okay.
You're all right. Yeah, people were buying their weed. People were going to the drug dealer, getting their drugs in their booze.
That's what they want you to be doing during that time. They want you to do that and getting drunk. Yes.
That's not what I was doing, though.
What were you doing?
What I was doing, first of all, my friend owned a gas station. And he was one of the few gas stations that was, I guess he was on a different grid, and his gas pumps were still working. But even then, when you went there, none of the credit card machines were working, so you had to have cash. You didn't have cash, he wasn't going to sell you any gas.
Wow.
And even then, his gas, he ran out for all his gas, and everybody brought it all up. So then I had to drive. The closest place I could find that had light, the grid was up, was all the way out in Pennsylvania. And I had to drive about 45 minutes into Pennsylvania.
Wow.
And then when I got there, then I saw the stores were open and everything was normal. And then that's when I realized that you really can't stock up on nothing more than a week. Because if a disaster lasts more than a week, you can't stay there. You got to move. You got to go someplace else.
So what are you getting then with your experience from Superstorm Sandy? Now coming down here and living here, were you here when that grid went down in 2021?
No,
partially went down.
Here then.
What's that?
I was in New Mexico at that point. I move around. I move state to state. So I I kind of know. I travel the country a little bit.
Okay, so you were not there. You were not here at the time. So what are you doing now to get ready? What kind of stuff or supplies are you getting and stocking up on?
First thing I did, I brought water. Water. You can't live without water. And after that, I stacked up all my gas tanks. I filled up my gas tank for my car, and I got four 5-gallon containers. So I filled all that up. That'll last me about a week. Because I'm telling you, if something has to last more than a week, you got to leave. You can't live there.
You got 4 5-gallon tanks filled up with gas?
Yeah.
Wow. Do you have a generator at your house?
No, I just got my car.
Don't be smoking by those gallons of gas there, okay?
I don't smoke. I don't drink.
Don't start smoking.
I don't.
Or don't start smoking around them. Anyways, okay, but no generator. So you said again, if you have an emergency, though, you've learned through Superstorm Sandy that when you were there in North Jersey, that if we have a thing where it's down for a while, you can't get more than a week's supply. You have to flee anyways.
Yeah, because if you don't have any electricity, what are you going to live there? How long are you going to live there? A month, 2 months with no electricity?
You could start rubbing sticks together.
What?
Start rubbing sticks together. I don't know.
No, I'm not living like that. I'm not living like in a modern with lights and stuff like that. Wherever the lights is at, that's where I'm going to be.
I'm with you, brother. Okay, so just water. I'm going to tell you something else that I learned, too.
No, I got food. I got food and snacks and stuff like that and all that stuff, too. But I'm not stacking up there for a month. Maybe like a week or two. Maybe like a week.
Did you go out and get extra stuff or just regular stuff that you would get anyways?
Just what I always regular get.
Yeah, me too. Now on the water thing, have you heard about on the water thing where you can just fill up your bathtub, for example, if you have one?
I mean, yeah, you can do that. I guess you could do that. No, but I'm not really like panicking in a situation like that. I just like have enough to last me for maybe like a week, and if things start getting like it's gonna last longer than a week, I'm telling you, I'm just gonna leave and go someplace else.
There you go, flee. I appreciate your call, Charles from Denton. Thank you very much.
I just want to say hello.
Yes, hello.
Yeah, like I said, I just live in an apartment. I live like a minimalist lifestyle. Like I don't really have much stuff, so that means I could just leave. Sounds
good, brother. Sounds very good. Are you not a terrorist, are you?
No, I'm not.
I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. You're not one of Joe's illegals, are you?
No. I'm an American. I'm a native-born New Jerseyan. I lived in New Jersey all my life, and I just moved to Texas, man.
Hey, what do you think of our politics after? What do you think of our politics after moving here? You like it better or no?
Yeah, because that's one of the reasons I moved here, because I'm Second Amendment all day.
That's what I wanted to hear. I'm very grateful then. I'm glad you're here, Charles. Thank you, brother. Appreciate you, and stay safe during this winter cold we're going to have.
You have a nice day.
You too, brother. Thank you very much. It sounds like he was humoring me. You got to have fun with this too, right? Be a little silly, have some fun. Why not, y'all, right? Okay, coming up next on the Chris Krok program, by all means, tell me about if you are stocking up and what you're getting ahead of the cold weather. Also, you can feel free to tell me, do you trust the grid, and what are your plans if the power goes out, and what do you set your thermostat at when it gets cold? But then also, I've been mentioning this tonight, but I'm going to actually get into it more next. Natural gas prices just shot up 400% in Texas. So we'll talk about what you and I can do or will be doing to try to counter that. It's insane. Coming up next, we also have Earl in Irving to talk about, he's got a very interesting idea for heating your home. And Earl, you stand by, brother. We'll take you right out of the box. Coming up next, Chris Krok Show, News Talk 820 WBAP. Our number is 800-288-WBAP, 800-288-9227. On News Talk 820 WBAP and 93.3 FM. I will say, I will quote our chief meteorologist, Brad Barton, here at News Talk 820 WBAP and 93.3 FM. Bradley Barton says that the Saturday, tomorrow, is the last day to get stuff ready. So let me tell you, get your you-know-what ready tomorrow. Because when the sun sets, that's it. So that's what I'm doing tomorrow. I'm throwing my covers over my plants. I already did, but they blew off, some of them. Like half of them. I'm so PO'd. So I will have to redo some of them tomorrow during the day. And then also I'm going to be wrapping up my pipes outside. You know, the ones for the, what do you call it, the hose bibs. Okay, we're talking about a couple things. Are you stocking up on groceries? What are you stocking up on before the cold weather hits? And then, do you trust the power grid? Are you concerned about it? Are you going to be lowering your power usage to keep our grid from becoming overloaded? What are your plans if the power does go out? What are your plans if the power does go out? Ouchity, ouch, ouch, ouch. And, of course, what do you set your thermostat at when it gets cold? 800-288-WBAP is our number, 800-288-9227. Natural gas prices skyrocketing, jumping more than 400% ahead of the cold blast. I'm not kidding. This is from the Dallas Morning News today. $17 per million BTU, British thermal units, how they measure it. And that compares to more than $3 for the most actively traded futures for next month's delivery, which means, okay, dude, we're paying $17 per BTU, and next month they're looking at about $3 per BTU. I mean, this is bad, dude. This is bad. Rising prices can be an indicator that traders are worried about high demand and freeze-offs, lowering supply. That's why they're freaking out. They think there's going to be a problem with high demand, with the cold weather, and freeze-offs, lowering the supply. Temperatures, of course, are going to crater starting Saturday night. Earl in Irving may have a wise alternative. By the way, he has called in, and you should too, at 800-288-WBAP, 800-288-9227. I'll throw one more question into the mix. Will you be lowering your natural gas usage during this upcoming cold snap to counter the 400% increase in natural gas that just happened in Texas? I'm going to tell you right now, you know how we get our emails saying your bill is coming due here in a few days, here's how much it is? I got that for my natural gas. It was like $120. And so what that tells me is I'm going to have the highest bill. I'm being serious now, and it peeves me off even saying this. I'm going to have the highest bill on my gas bill that I've ever had in my house. I'm telling you right now. That's my full 110% belief, and that peeves me off to no end. It means I'm probably going to get $150 for a gas bill, which I've never seen that before, man. Maybe 110, 115, but not this is insane. So Earl in Irving has a good idea for all of us. Earl, you're on News Talk 820 WBAP and 93.3 FM.
Hey, buddy.
How are you?
Pretty good. We last 5 years we've had a wood pellet stove, and when we moved into this old house, it had an AC central AC system on it, and we ran it one winter with a $600 bill for the gas, and it wasn't in the house. So
what the heck? $600 bill?
Yeah, it was. In other words, we told them to take the gas out.
I mean, this is insane. How many square foot is your house? Is it like old where it needs to be updated as far as energy stuff, or what?
Yeah, it's an old house, 2-story house that needs to be updated. Just hadn't had the money to go in. For insulation, it's got tar on the inside. Tar, that old style insulation.
Dang, dude! What year is your car? What year is your house? What year is it built?
Shoot,
100 years ago, maybe 80 years ago.
Yeah, probably about that. Because
okay,
from what I understand about it, they moved that house from cold water bottom to cold water when the water got up. So
you're probably not living in an Energy Star rated house.
No, not Energy
okay,
Star.
So you got a wood pellet burner heater, which tell me how that's been and how much was it?
I don't remember what the wife said it cost. And
that's okay, but how is it working?
Room.
How is it working? Do you have one upstairs, one downstairs, or just one for the whole house? What's going on with that?
Just one for the living room. We got 2 buddy heaters and propane for the rest of the house. Got it ready for the cold snap coming through.
My gosh.
I've got 4 heat lamps underneath the house around the pipes to keep them from freezing. The crawl space is probably about 2 foot high all the way underneath the house there.
I was reading about this too today because I don't have a pier and beam house, so my pipes are below the foundation, which is horrible for digging them up to replace them one day. But other than that, it works well because they won't freeze up. But yours you need to have them all insulated because they will freeze up, and you don't have them insulated, so you get heat lamps all up and down there, huh?
Oh, I've got them insulated, but I still got heat lamps because I had them insulated last year when we had that one real cold snap and one of my lines busted. I was lucky enough that it was right there, close enough for me to not have to go crawling all the way underneath the house to get to it.
Yeah, no thanks on all of that, brother. Okay, appreciate your call, man. Thank you, Earl.
All right, take care.
You too. Okay, there goes Earl, and appreciate that call. Our lines are wide open for you at 800-288-WBAP is our number, 800-288-9227. Tell me your plans for the freezing cold weather. What are you stocking up on, and what are you going to do if your power crashes at your house? And you know what we're going to do next is one of my favorite segments. Getting your home and your yard ready for the cold weather that is about to hit. What advice do you have for your fellow homeowners on getting ready for the cold, indoors and outdoors? And do you have a generator? Why or why not? This will be fun. Very much fun. I'll say it again. What advice do you have for fellow homeowners on getting ready for the cold, indoors and outdoors? I'll tell you what some of the people are saying in the news stories on this today. I'll also tell you what I'm doing and what I recommend in more detail. And do you have a generator? Why or why not? And I don't, but I'll tell you why I don't. All that's coming up next on the Chris Krok Show on News Talk 820 WBAP and 93.3 FM. It's time to put the long underwear on. People will be wearing long underwear under their clothes. You know that, right? Can I tell you this? I'll tell you something. When I was in Minneapolis, St. Paul, that's when you wear long underwear a lot. Because I would come home from my show, which ended at 9 p.m. in Minneapolis, St. Paul. And I remember one night coming home, looking at the thermostat that is, or thermometer, whatever you call it, that's right outside of my sliding window, whatever, sliding door on the patio, and it was -9 degrees, and it was only 9:30. But no stupid wimp confusing wind chill crap. I don't do that. I just say what the temperature is. All right, the wind chill's stupid. It's for wimps. It's for people who want to confuse you and obfuscate. What's the temperature? I'll figure it out. I got it. If it's windy, it'll be colder. I understand that. Thank you. Get out of here, right? So it was -9. So that meant it probably went down to -14, -15, -20. That I have no clue. I don't remember. It's been years, many years, but there it was. All right, a couple questions for you. What advice do you have homeowners? What advice do you have for fellow homeowners getting ready for the cold, indoors and outdoors? And do you have a generator? Why or why not? So I've got a whole bunch of tips on this that I want to share with you, but I want to hear from you too. What advice do you have for your fellow homeowners getting ready for the cold, indoors and outdoors? And then do you have a generator? Why or why not? 800-288-WBAP is our number, 800-288-9227. Let's go to Oliver in Fort Worth first. Oliver, you're on News Talk 820 WBAP and 93.3 FM.
Yes, they should put, you can put cat litter on your steps and sidewalk to get traction if it should, we have some precipitation. And if we don't have precipitation, you may have black ice down there, so need to be real careful walking. And with edges on like fence and anything that has an edge, be careful because the cold it gets is sharp like a knife. And if you hit it hard or touch it, you can cut yourself. And don't put your bare hands or fingers to it. Don't let the kids touch it with their tongues because it'll stick to it.
Wait a minute. Okay, so what did you say about the sharpness of the ice again?
Okay, like you have the edge of something. Let's just say it's an object in the yard, a table or something. You know how the edge of the table is?
Yeah.
The very edge of that will be real sharp because it's cold. And if you have any force, like you drop it or pick it up or something like that, and hurriedly you can cut it because the colder it gets, the sharper that edge gets. It's like a knife.
Now, that's interesting. I've never heard of that before.
I learned that when I was in the engineers in the Army. A guy in a unit before mine lost his leg at Fort Leonard Wood. We're building a bridge, and that was it. So.
Wait a minute. A dude lost his leg when they were building a bridge in the cold?
Yeah, the bridge they were in sections, and they had sections, just like putting any object that's got a 90-degree angle on it, and they dropped it, and because it was cold, it took his leg.
Dang, brother. Fort Leonard Wood, what year was that?
That was back in '84.
My brother graduated from for basic training from Fort Leonard Wood. We all went down there to see him. It was easy coming up from Illinois. Hotter than heck that summer, and it was swampy and now nasty down there.
That's Fort Lost in the Wood, we used to call it. But that catalytic, just regular catalytic, put down on the steps, and you mix just a little salt. And
I'm used to throwing tons of that salt, but kitty litter and salt is what you recommend. Oliver.
Oh, yeah, just a little salt. And then when you go in the house, make sure they wipe the shoes off, the salt. No, the salt will mess.
Oh, dude, we used to. Yeah.
And the first time it gets warm, you need to wash that off real good to get that salt off there.
Yeah, it gets nasty. Yeah. Growing up in the Midwest, thanks for the call, Oliver. Growing up in the Midwest, we had that, it was always dealing with salt discoloration, wherever, you had or like salt stains on your stains. You can wash them out. They never really stain, but, your pants, your this, your that had salt, your shoes. Yeah, everywhere, especially in the Midwest. All right, guys, so what advice do you have for fellow homeowners on getting ready for the cold indoors and outdoors? And do you have a generator? Why not? Okay, I do not have a generator, and the reason why is I don't want to spend $2,000 on something, and it sits there, and I use it once every year, 2 or 3 for a few days. Obviously I'd love to have one when and if I need it, but on the same token, I'm like, it's going to sit there, and my wife's going to say to me every year or two, why did you get that? I told you we don't need it. And then I'd be like, oh, especially since our house, and you can call me estupido for this logic, but especially since our house didn't go out of power one time for even a second. When we went through the great storm of 2021 in that February when the grid almost collapsed. So for us, we live in a certain area where the grid just does not shut off. I think it's because we must live near an essential area. And no, I will not tell you where I live. I don't know how far it went either, like our whole neighborhood or what, but all we know is everybody on our block, we're tight with a lot of good people on our block. None of us lost power. And also that was one of the reasons why I said I'm not moving. When we were looking at buying a new house, like a bigger house or adding on, we stayed and we added on because, among other things, is like, I don't want to go to a house where the grid's going to shut down every time the power goes out. That's worth something. Okay, so here's what you do to get ready on your house according to these experts, so-called experts. This is from Fox 4 and NBC5. People should detach their water hose and insulate their outside faucets. Yes. Dude, you don't want to spend, $500 to $1,000 or more just because you didn't do this. And I'm telling you, it's going to happen to you no matter what you think, unless you cover it up. So if you have one that sticks out of the side of your house, that's easier. You can get one of these those little cone things that you just attach and put on there, and it holds it in with elastic type stuff. Or you can get, if you have one of the ones like I do coming out the front and back of my house, coming out of the ground, so that you got to have it wrapped up in that foam stuff. And then on top of that, at the top of mine, I put rags over where the spigot is. And my friend Jim Dutton from Texas Home Improvement, who's an expert on home improvement of all things, he was on last night with us. around this time actually, and he was telling us that, for me at least, I don't know if you got the faucet coming up from the ground, you want a bucket over it as well. So I'm wrapping mine, and I'm getting a stupid 5-gallon bucket to put over our faucet, our hose bib in the back that comes up like 2 foot out of the ground. That's vulnerable. So maybe it's 1.5 foot. I don't know. All I know is it's bigger than the other one in the front. That one's about 1 foot up in the air, if that. So anyway, that's what you do. You wrap it, and then you cover it with a bucket. If you're in my situation, it's going to be bad. Cover the plants. I did that the other day. I hate it. It's like an hour-long stupid ordeal for me. I can't stand covering my plants. But overnight, the windy weather we got or something like that, it blew my freaking plant covers off. Not all of them, but half of them. I'm like, are you kidding me? This is so annoying. Cabinet doors. Now, let me tell you about this. And I want to throw it out there again for you to call in. What advice do you have for fellow homeowners on getting ready for the cold, indoors and outdoors? You may have learned the hard way. Call in, share it with us so we can learn too. 800-288-WBAP is our number, 800-288-9227. And do you have a generator? Why or why not? Okay, so the leaving your cabinet doors open, that is only if it's on an outside wall. And in my house, I have an outside wall for my laundry, which we now have a laundry room. And I think it's been redone when we did the addition as far as the insulation. But I still will probably do what we've done before, put a heater in there, and like a small one, and it'll just heat the room up to like, the, who knows, whatever, the 60. Well, actually, I have a it's actually, that is actually climate controlled, that room. So actually, I don't need to do anything. I forgot about that. The addition, we have our own laundry room finally. It was like in a cove before, and it was on my wife's wish list. So actually, I'll just turn up the heat probably. That'll do it. But my kitchen is the sink is on the outside wall, and that was a problem before with we ended up getting it redone with a leak that happened with something else. And so that's been insulated well, but still, I don't trust it, and I don't want to play around with this stuff. So do you really want to have them bash through your wall below your sink? And no. So open up the cabinets on that. And in fact, I go a little bit nuts. I open up the drawers to the left and right of where the cabinet's open, so that it's like, so both sides of the cabinet, you know what I mean? It's getting warm stuff from everywhere. When it's really cold, I might even do it. We've done this before. We had a little heater that is emanating, the heat's blowing or, emanating toward, right next to the opening of the cabinet. So the inside of the cabinet's like really warm. I do that. That way there's no way it's going to freeze up. I'll probably do that this year because it's looking bad how cold it's going to be. We're going to break some records. I'm going to share that with you coming up next. There's a few other ones I'm going to share with you on what to do to get your house ready according to NBC5. A few other things. And you probably have learned the hard way on this. So share with us, what advice do you have for fellow homeowners on getting ready for the cold, indoors and outdoors? And also I want to get into what records can be broken here, or probably will be broken during the cold. That's coming up next on the Chris Krok Show on News Talk 820 WBAP and 93.3 FM. 24 hours from now, we're going to be like, holy crap, not going to want to go anywhere, blah, 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 but we're going to have to live our lives. One of the things we have to do is get ready, and we should have been doing this for several days by now, and it's okay. Don't worry. I'll just tell you, and other people are calling in, which is great, to share their advice on what they're doing to get their houses ready and such. What advice do you have for fellow homeowners on getting ready for the cold, indoors and outdoors, as far as your house and your land there? And then, do you have a generator? Why or why not? I do not, because I don't want to spend $2,000 on something that sits there in storage in my garage, taking up space, and I only use it once, a couple of times for every 2 years or 3 years or something like that. It's just not worth it to me. Anyway, maybe I'll pay for that and be sad about that. I don't know. By the way, if stuff goes south, hotels will be booked for hours or, within an hour or two of wherever you live. We went through that too in that great storm about 2 years ago. Let's go to Gwen in Wills Point. You're on News Talk 820 WBAP and 93.3 FM. Hi, Gwen.
Hi, good evening.
Good evening.
I'm a born and bred Texan, So I never knew this tip until I moved to Canada and lived there about a year and a half.
You lived in Canada from Texas for a year and a half? Holy gosh!
Yes, and you know why I came back? Because I hate cold weather.
Yeah, I'll bet you really hate cold weather now.
I really, really do. But I learned a fabulous thing. Most falls in the ice happen when people walk out of their houses.
Okay.
The vast majority. So, when you step out of your house, your shoes are warm, right?
Yes.
Even if you have your salt and all that, and you think, oh, no problem. When you step out of your house, your shoes are much, much warmer, and the ice melts even with the salt, and that's where people slip and fall, especially going down a step. So, the tip is, as soon as you step out of your house, stand still for 20 to 30 seconds. Let your shoes get cool, and then carry on.
Okay, this is fascinating. Stand right there on, if there's possibly ice. If it looks like there's ice, stand on it and wait a few seconds because it's going to, let your temperature of your shoes lower?
Yes. Yes, it does.
And then what does that do? That means it won't... Then what happens? I'm confused.
Well, if your shoes are warm and you step out on a slippery surface, that makes it more slippery.
Okay, so you've gone through this. You literally believe this is true, huh?
Literally, I know this is a fact.
Sounds stupid, doesn't it? You got to admit, it sounds dumb, doesn't it?
Yes. It sounded dumb to me until I saw my husband fall when he didn't do it.
Holy crap. So there's something in the reaction with your shoes walking on ice that doesn't let you slip and fall as much if the shoes are cooled off. That's very fascinating. Gwen, I appreciate that good tip.
You're quite welcome.
Welcome back to
some people.
Welcome back to your home state. God bless Texas.
God bless Texas.
All right, take care. Let's go to Jim in Duncanville. You're on News Talk 820 WBAP and 93.3 FM.
Hey, Chris, I got a couple of suggestions. Number one is make sure you get the water in your radiator checked. You can do it yourself if you got a $2 hygrometer, or you go to a shop and make sure that it's, because as cold as it's going to get, you could easily get a cracked block out of this deal. You certainly don't want that. So,
wait a minute. How do you you're saying check your radiator to make sure it's full?
Well, not full, that it has enough antifreeze in it to cover the super deep temperatures are going to be, because these are not normal, like at 0, 5, 10, 15 degrees. They're really going to test you. If you don't have enough antifreeze, if the mixture of antifreeze and water in your radiator is not good enough, you're going to have a problem.
Wow. Okay. Yeah. So how do you test that other than pay your mechanic to do that?
You can if they're still available for about $2, you can get something called a hygrometer, and it measures the specific gravity of the water. You don't have to do anything special. You just wait till the radiator's cool, open it up, or if you got a reservoir tank, you can dip it into there, and then like that, it'll either have a gauge on it if you have a fancy one, or it'll have different colored balls, and you can look at this chart, and depending on which where the balls are, like that, it'll tell you how much temperature the fluid in your radiator will support before you get into trouble.
Okay, that's good to know. So testing out to make sure your radiator fluid is full enough with enough of it, antifreeze, to not freeze up and have serious problems with your car. Thank you very much, Jim.
Second, I got one more.
Please.
Okay, all right. This will save you for that bucket thing. This is all natural cure. If you still have a bunch of leaves in your yard anywhere, and a bunch of them should have come down the last bucket, what you can do is this: you can either just rake them on top of hydrants, cover them up thoroughly, or you could get a bucket and put them in the bucket and cover up that, or you cover it up with the hydrant, or you can put them in plastic sack and put the plastic sack, over the. And the reason they're brown, the leaves are brown, is because they're oxidizing. So that means that they're warmer than yes. Oh, by the way, that's exactly what the situation is with the shoes. you want your shoes to cool down like that so that they don't unnecessarily melt any ice on there. Because if you get water on top of ice, it's going to be a whole lot slicker than.
That's why. Okay, thank you very much, Jimmy. You're a smart dude. Keep calling in. I like those calls. Jack and Grapevine, you're on News Talk 820 WBAP. You got 30 seconds. Go, brother.
A good recommendation is there's a manufacturer out of Colorado Springs, Colorado, by the name of Woodford, Woodford. They make a hose bib called the Model 19, guaranteed not to burst, even if you leave your hose on.
Now, that's fascinating.
I've had it. I live pretty close to the lake in Grapevine. I've had one on the north side of my house for about 15, 18 years now, and never had a problem. As a matter of fact, I have a problem with the hose bursting itself, but not the hose bib.
Wow.
So,
well, thanks for that tip, Jack. What is it again?
Model 19 Woodford. And go on the internet. They put on the outside of the box. They guarantee it not to burst if installed properly.
All right, brother.
Pay up to $5,000.
$5,000 guarantee. I appreciate your call. Thank you for that great tip. I'll Google it. We'll see what it comes out and looks like from my end. All right, what records can be broken during this cold that's coming this weekend? We're going to talk about that and then driving in the cold. A lesson for me and from you, both of us, next.